ignoring this rock and roll stuff anymore. Every hotel and club in the country's wiring for information.
Hello, Groove Dogs. Welcome to the Runaway Radio Rewind, a program that looks and listens back to the heyday of one of America's truly great radio stations, the legendary and late KLOL. It's the Runaway Radio Rewind. And now, here's your host, Steve Robinson.
Hey there. Welcome back. This is the Runaway Radio Rewind, giving you just a taste each week of how awesome the radio station KLOL was. Now, today we're going to hear a classic interview with the late actor Larry Hagman, yes, JR from Dallas fame and many other shows. And we also get to hear more from the architect of KLOL, former general manager Pat Fant. And we have to squeeze in an Uncle Waldo, so we'll take care of that. So let's get cracking. Oh, real quick, if you haven't done so, check out RunawayRadioRewind.com. All right, Stevens and Pruett had the gift of making even what could be a boring interview turn into some pretty funny segments, and this one is no exception. It's Larry Hagman with the guys. Enjoy it.
I believe Mr. Hagman is on the line. Hello?
Hello, Larry.
On the line. Yeah.
How are you, Larry? This is Mark Stevens.
Hey,
And
Mark.
I'm Jim Pruett.
And I'm Boner.
And he's Boner. Say hello to Boner.
Hey, Boner. How you doing, Boner?
I'm good.
Hey, Hagman, do you realize how famous you are around the world?
Yeah.
You know, I like to travel, and everywhere I go, you know, people say, where are you from? And right away you say Texas, and they say, oh, you know JR.
That's right.
No matter where you are in the world. I mean,
And you get a free drink if you say yes, that's for sure.
Absolutely.
Now, Larry, I almost said JR. Larry, you know, it's said in the newspaper, and I don't know if it was bogus or not, but you said you talked to so many people during the week that you used to take a day off of not speaking.
Yeah, I still do.
Do you?
Yeah, I take a day off. Saturday or Sunday, something like that.
So, Larry,
well, you see, the thing is, you can't do any business when you're not talking. You can't pick up the phone and do business. So it's nice. I've made some very good business deals when I'm not talking. Because when you don't say anything, they think you're smart.
I want to tell you, your voice sounds terrific. How you doing? I mean, you know, I know you went through hell getting the new liver and everything. How you doing now?
I feel wonderful. Listen to my voice.
Yeah, it does.
It's very
deep.
deep.
It says here in the only rag in town, we have one newspaper.
Well, actually, we went over the internet.
Houston Chronicle with Annie Hodges. She's a good buddy of mine.
Well, I guess so, because
Good review.
She gave you one sparkling review. Aristocratic power broker, king of the court, an incorruptible man in a city where crime and corruption are a way of life.
That's my Annie.
And I loved your quote, an incorruptible judge in New Orleans is a joke in itself.
And the
It is kind of an oxymoron, that's for sure.
How are you guys on the show, you know, the crew and everybody, how are you being accepted by the New Orleans people?
Oh, well, they liked us so far, but they haven't seen the end product yet. So we'll see how we're accepted after last night's show.
Orleans,
Orleans,
premiered, appeared last night on the tube for the first time.
Very good.
So far, the reviews are very good. We do have some questions for you, though.
Yeah, but is it going to be another Dallas? You think it's going to be the big thing that Dallas was? You think you'll be?
Frankly, I don't think anything can be Dallas. You know, let's face it. That was.
Well, I got to tell you, there are some things. You know, if the writers get into, we were in the New Orleans market for a while. Whenever we went through our syndicated phase, that are pretty interesting. So if they look hard enough, as a matter of fact, we're available for, if you want to consult.
Yeah, you want consultants
for a small fee.
Yeah,
we'll help out.
Because we've been to Mardi Gras so many times.
Sure.
We've done motorcycle rides all around New Orleans. And
Are you a motorcyclist?
Oh yeah. You have a bike?
Oh sure, I got 2 Harleys.
Do you?
Oh,
you got a fat boy, don't you?
Yeah, no, I got a Softail.
No, I was talking about in your pants.
Oh, they told me about you guys. Told me.
Now, is your liver new, or did you make a trade with David Crosby?
Oh God!
Ooh, God.
I'm just kidding. It's just a joke.
Oh, I know it. Well,
in the show last night, it was so reminiscent. To see New Orleans again. Did you think so?
Yeah.
Because we have spent a lot of time there.
Yeah.
And
it's
we
an
actually
interesting town, that's for sure.
Yeah,
we
boy,
actually knew a girl that was on Bourbon Street, wasn't it? The Crescent Cabaret, and her name was Sugar Lafayette.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
That was her name, Sugar Lafayette.
And that was one of the main characters last night.
You ought to see what she used to dip in our coffee when we were having beignets. Boy, it was, oh man, Larry.
Adds a little spice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you've got the TV 14 rating. You've taken it where you've got the family concept, kind of like Dallas, but you've got kind of the NYPD sauciness, which you have to do if you're in Orleans.
Right,
because Orleans is a saucy town.
Well,
You got to be a tough cop in New Orleans, man. Because I'm telling you, when you're at a party town,
And
the
underpaid,
cops,
too. Don't forget that.
Yes.
and your friend Ann Hodges said herself, with the TV 14 rating, meeting parents are strongly cautioned about, adult subjects and language and everything.
Yeah.
Well, you know how much people pay attention to that stuff.
Yeah, do you think they do?
No.
I think if you get a TV 14 rating, everybody wants to watch it. That's what I think.
Absolutely. The kids will sneak it anyhow.
Oh,
I'd
Larry.
make it TV 18, see if that helped any.
JR or Dallas may have been a great. New Orleans may, it might be a great one.
It's
Dallas
Orleans,
was
Jim.
a great one. Orleans.
Name of the show is Orleans.
Orleans may be great. Dallas was fantastic, but my favorite show of all time was I Dream of Jeannie.
That's
and
right.
I've got to know one thing, and
No,
one thing
I'm not
only.
going to tell you. I won't tell you, but I'll tell you one. I'll tell you the
How
three.
do you know
I'll
what he's
give you
going to
the-
ask, Larry?
Wait a minute. I'll give you the answer to the three most frequently asked questions. Okay.
All right.
Did
Just
you
give,
hose-
just give us the answer, not the question.
Did you or did
That's
you
what
not
I'm going
hose?
to do. I'm going
All
to
right,
give you
here-
the answer.
here are the
Okay,
answers.
you ready?
Yeah.
Okay. First, one, Barbara Eden is as beautiful off screen as she is on.
Yeah.
That
Two,
was
she does have a navel.
uh-huh.
And three, no, I never did.
Oh, come on, Larry. You're a good-looking man.
He had the third one was yours, right? The third one was yours. Yeah,
I wanted to know, did you hose Barbara Eden? That's all I wanted to know.
Well, maybe she wasn't dirty.
No, she's very straight.
Oh, really?
Oh, yeah?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, but I understand, from people who have done work with you that I've talked to, they say you're a pretty wild guy at times.
No, I'm not.
That's what I hear.
Oh, yeah?
That's what Annie Hodges told me.
I heard that
Well,
you got
I might have been wild at one time, but I got a new liver. I got to take care of that better than I took care of my last one. That's
Larry, did you or did you not receive a Christmas card from Jose Cuervo? The truth.
Come on, Larry, fess up.
I did better than that. I made $150,000 doing an ad for them one time.
There
for
you
an hour's
go.
work.
Oh, man.
That's even better.
100.
I'd rather
What
have that
year?
than a Christmas card.
Hey, Larry, what year was that?
Oh, golly, I don't know, 15 years ago.
Yeah, and then the $150,000 in those days, like, $1 million.
So I can see
That
now.
was a lot of money.
Oh, yeah.
Instead of who shot JR, it's JR's favorite shot.
Here's
Hey,
a
we
man
should have
gets
used
off.
that. That's better than copy than what I had.
Well, then God knows what, when you got that fruitcake from Jack Daniels, what they paid you. Woo.
Do you ever plan to do any more comedy? Because on I Dream of Jeannie, you did some fantastic physical comedy work,
Yeah, and
especially.
I'm paying for it now, too.
But I saw you on Rosie the other day, and you're a funny guy.
Yeah.
Well,
You
she's
have
pretty good.
you have the
She's pretty
unique
good.
you have the unique face, without saying a word that you can, translate. You can transmit a line with just your facial expression.
Yeah, last night at the end of the show, when you were doing you were boxing in Ralph Waite, the Otis character, with all the kids at the very end, there was some takes on your face when you're delivering the lines and you're setting him up for the fall.
Yeah.
That you're not saying anything and the camera's tight on your face, and you can. It was kind of reminiscent of the old JR days where you could see the wheels turning.
Oh, yeah, he has.
It's great.
You do have a great face that says a lot of things with just a few wrinkles.
I'm tape recording this.
Yeah.
You guys are great. Keep on.
And you know what?
More.
It's true about you. And where's your home?
And you did hose Barbara Eden, you bastard.
Oh, please.
Yes, you
Come
did.
on.
Get
How
it.
do you know? How do you know? Do you have inside
You
information?
had better
on
luck
that?
with Roger.
A good-looking,
Maybe
a
he.
good-looking Hollywood guy like that, and a Hollywood babe.
Yeah, but maybe
they do it.
Maybe he wasn't alone in this. Maybe he and Jose Cuervo helped.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Now,
I live in
Come
Ohio.
on, you got her a couple of shots, and you got her
Oh,
in.
no way, Jose. You never do that with your leading lady. No.
Who's going to buy that?
Right.
I'm
No
buying
way.
everything you're saying, but I am not buying that.
No. Barbara's a square.
Really?
No way.
And you didn't even
I
like
am
her.
looking at all
Maybe
the
she was-
reviews.
I loved her.
Maybe
This
she-
has been a great interview. We've read it. All the reviews are in. They're good.
Yeah, everybody
We-
loves your new show.
It's on Wednesday nights on CBS.
What did I tell you? You never knew where an S&P interview was going. Hey, thanks for listening to the Runaway Radio Rewind. I'm Steve Robinson. Here's more of our conversation we had with KLOL creator Pat Fant.
Jim Pruett was there with you in the early days of KLOL, but when did Jim Pruett become part of the Stevens and Pruett Morning Show, and how did you get them to KLOL?
Well, Jim Pruett was a part of the fabric of KLOL from not only about 1971 when we, in phase one, when we signed it on and start building it in the early formative years, but he, of course, came back as Stevens and Pruett in '85, and that was a turning point because we were going along at 80 miles an hour just fine before Stevens and Pruett, and when I had the nerve to bring that show to town from Dallas and put them on the air in Houston at KLOL in 1985 and let it go from there, and the history speaks for itself. Billboard Station of the Year in 1990. Stevens and Pruett show, we syndicated it. We were in, I don't know how many other markets, but we fed the show by network to quite a few other small to medium-sized markets, including New Orleans and I think maybe Memphis. There were a number of markets that got it, mainly southern tier markets. But Stevens and Pruett helped us, and certainly with Jim Pruett's amazing creativity and imagination, helped us take it to the next level that we just couldn't even envision before these guys showed up. I went to see them do their show one day in Dallas at the Eagle, and Stevens and Pruett were working mornings for the Eagle in Dallas for Joel Folger, the program director. And I was a guest, let's say. I was Jim Pruett's friend. I think he told him I was a relative or brother-in-law, a cousin or whatever. But there's this guy in the control room in Dallas watching them do their show, watch the whole crew do their show that morning in Dallas. And after that, I said, "You're hired. Let's go. Give them your notice. Quit. I'm taking the whole crew." I took Martha Martinez, the news muchacha, took Eddie the Boner Sanchez, Brian Shannon, and we moved the whole crew to Houston, and Jim came back to KLOL, and they had what it takes.
Did the show that you heard in Dallas and decided this is what we want for KLOL, did it sound like what Stevens and Pruett ultimately sounded like in their glory years on KLOL?
Well, the bones of it were there, but at KLOL they stretched out far more than they had at the Eagle in Dallas. I think they were doing Uncle Waldo episodes in Dallas. I think they were doing those. But the imagination and the boldness that came with the Stevens and Pruett show after coming back to Houston, coming to KLOL was well beyond what they had ever done. It was the best work of their life, and so it did evolve. I mean, the heart of it was the same show that they had done, but not like this. Not like this.
Talk a little bit about the FCC and management, and at what point in time, were there points in time where you had to rein the guys in, or was it always just, okay, I will, and then smokescreen?
No, I reined them in all the time, actually, and it was effective and it worked, and they remembered as long as they remembered, or not, and then they would go off into something else that, well, you didn't tell us not to do this, so then we'd have that talk. But no, we would have regular meetings. They come, oh, that's going to be a meeting. They'd say something on the air. They knew it was wrong. It was over the line, and they'd go, oh, that's going to be a meeting. Yep, that's it. We, as a federally licensed broadcast radio station, we did wind up paying 2 or 3 FCC fines for what they called indecency.
I'm here to apologize once again for certain outrageous remarks made by Stevens and Pruett on KLOL's morning show. Our apologies this time to the faculty of Rice University, the Texas Sheep Herders Association, Police Chief Downtown Brown, anyone living north of I-10, my mother, Maxine Messenger.
Stevens and Pruett in the morning, the best rock and roll variety all day on 101 KLOL.
I've discussed the matter again with Stevens and Pruett, and I'm sure they'll be behaving like choir boys in the future.
And it was a little indecent, but the fines were prompted by a complaint. Because if no one complains, people don't know this, if no one files a written complaint with the feds, then the broadcaster is really never going to hear from anything directly. Almost always. It's usually complaint driven. So there were some organized groups that wanted to take the opportunity to complain to, sort of hold back the fun and excitement of the show. And they were either religious groups, gay and lesbian groups, and really everyone could be offended if they tried. And they didn't have to try that hard, but everyone could be, marginally to sort of moderate to severely offended, depending on the day and who they felt like they were. So when they would have a conversation on the air about a news story that might have involved a lady in the community, and they would sort of detail what the news report said about her and what had happened. And then the calls would come to me at 10 o'clock when they got off, and I would talk to the lawyers, and I would say, at the end of it, it's like, let me ask you a question. Do you really think it's a good idea if tomorrow, as you request here, that you have me go to them and make an apology on the air to your wife for calling her a tramp? Do you think that's probably, it's like, well, I'm sorry, Ms. Jones. We really probably shouldn't have called you a tramp. Really, you're more of a, and then it would sort of go on from there, and then we would say, well, let's go back over what actually happened. Yes, let's be sure, because maybe we went too far. Maybe we shouldn't have really said, what a tramp. Maybe we shouldn't have said that. Well, by the time you're through with the apology, you wished you had never asked for an apology. Now, were we wrong to do this? Of course we were. But the listeners just ate it up, and the fun and excitement of it all, day in and day out, always meant for a good time to be had by all.
Thanks again for listening, and if you haven't done so, check out RunawayRadioRewind.com. Once again, ladies and gentlemen, it's time for Uncle Waldo.
And now the Stevens and Pruett Traveling Mike joins this redneck wedding already in progress in Baytown.
So do you, Virgil, also known as Daddy Bear, take Darlene, also known as Little Wool, to be your lawfully wedded old lady. Come on back.
10-4 there, good buddy.
Okay, and do you, Darlene, also known as Little Wool, take Daddy Bear to be your lawfully wedded old man. Come on back.
Huh?
Come on back.
10-4, I guess.
All right, now, by the power vested in me by the state of Texas, I now pronounce y'all husband and wife. Virgil, put your beer down to kiss your wife first.
Okay.
Ooh, that was beautiful. Good morning.
Oh, hi.
Oh, there goes coming up. Another Uncle Waldo adventure right in your face. Here we go, Reel.
Oh, what a humdinger we got for you today.
Oh, yeah.
Time to kick back and join those legendary Stevens and Pruett Not Ready for Drive Time players starring in Uncle Waldo, Teenage Lover Type Person Part 2. Oh, he's a hot one. In Act 1, Scene 1, we are bedroom bound. It's Uncle Waldo and the hot, luscious Nifia Scooter Pie in the boudoir. Let's listen.
Uncle Waldo? Yeah, Nifia.
Would you take off my dress?
Oh, yeah.
Uncle Waldo.
I sure will.
Uncle Waldo.
Uh-huh.
take off my mesh hose.
Oh, yes.
Uncle Waldo, take off my garter belt.
I want to. Okay.
Oh, thank you. Now, Uncle Waldo, take off my boo bustier.
Are you serious?
Take it off! I
Okay.
said take it off!
Yeah.
Uncle Waldo,
What are you gonna do?
take off my push-up bra. Come on, take it off!
All right.
I said take it off!
Okay, all right. Yeah.
Uncle Waldo, Uncle Waldo, one more thing. I never want to see you wearing my clothes again. You...
You've been listening to the Runaway Radio Rewind. Join us next week for more memories and goodness for the intelligentsia from the people who made the former KLOL what it was. Find us online at runawayradiorewind.com and be sure to grab your Runaway Radio gear. You can find the show on YouTube, Apple Podcasts, and Google Play. Show us your dog, and we'll see you next week on the Runaway Radio Rewind.